Welcome to the Box Score Sports Podcast.
Okay, perfect. Okay, let's do this. Let's the NBA Finals. Let's preview this. Spurs Knicks, huge matchup. You get Victor Wembanyama. You get the city, New York City, the big market, and all the fans. I think it's going to be really fun. Gut in your gut, who do you want to win? That's what I want to start out with. This. Who do you want to win this series, Clint?
The Knicks.
Okay. Oh, really? I thought I
That
would be the Knicks guy. I
that
want the
that
Knicks
I,
to win too.
it's it's hard for me to say.
Right.
As noted, not big market Clint here, but but
And Pistons Bucks
I
fan, right?
yeah, I do think part of like the buildup of the Western Conference Finals of like this is just the pinnacle in the Eastern Conference. Like the Knicks didn't really play anyone, and I'm like, I don't really think it cared who the Knicks played. Um, and look, at this point, I'm tired of hearing about the Western Conference. If the Knicks can win this one, we've had eight different title winners. It would be 4-4. So we can talk about how awesome the Western Conference is for the last, and it has been a better conference. But like when it comes to the finals, it'd be like, cool. The East is 1-4. Could have been 5 if Halliburton doesn't blow out his Achilles last year.
Right. He was
So
on fire. He hit his first
yeah,
three threes, I think, but
so it would not. This would be the one time the Knicks don't have anyone. I don't care for Brunson, but I don't hate Brunson. So the Knicks don't have anyone on their team that I don't would prefer never win a title. So in this case, I would like to see the Knicks win.
yeah. I'm with you. I just think it'd be kind of cool if Brunson wins one because I like the idea of like I was a doubter. There's a lot of doubters because of his height. He's tall. He is as tall as I am. Like, and he's scoring on NBA players, and he's really good at it. And it's just like, well, if he wins one, I wouldn't mind. And then like the other side is like Cat being this sort of kind of reject and always the scapegoat no matter where he goes, and he somehow becomes like an integral part of the reason why you're able to win a title. I think that's also cool about it. But I'm like I said I told a friend I'm like 55-45. Like I don't really care that much, but if I had to choose, I would pick the Knicks. Some of the things you said, but also the other thing is I'm a little salty that Victor Wembanyama is not a Detroit Piston. Okay, he should be a Piston, and we know the NBA rigged it so that San Antonio could get the next great big man. Okay, and the other thing that is just this: San Antonio is a young team, and they're gonna be in the conversation for the next 3 to 5 years, whatever. So it's like they're going to have other shots, and I don't want it to start now. I'd rather wait one more year. And I think some of the players on the team gets a little overhyped because of people not recognizing that Victor solves a lot of the problems that the other players might have. So it's all those things combined, and that's why I'm going to be slightly rooting for the Knicks.
We are on the same page.
Okay, so give me what you're looking for. One thing you're looking for in this series.
For me, it's shooting. I think the key to breaking the Spurs down is shooting. And I think the difference between what the Thunder could do after the injuries and what the Knicks can do is space out the Spurs. Because I think the Thunder losing to the Spurs was not a defensive problem, it was an offensive problem. And I think the Knicks are, if you take this version of the Knicks, I think is better than the version of the Thunder the Spurs just went against offensively. So I think that alone, now you always have the Josh Hart factor,
Right.
right? He's going to be the Caruso
Right.
linchpin, but I
Hmm.
think even if he's not awesome, the rest of the team shoots a lot better than the Thunder do.
Right. And I think like Shamit has earned a right to try to play in this series. I think the other thing I'm really focused on is the big guards that they have covering the smaller guards that the Knicks have. So like obviously Hart is a bigger guard. He's like 6'5", but like 6'4", 6'5". Brunson's small, McBride small. Shamit I think is only 6'3", right? He's not super tall. So it's gonna be like Castle and Harper. You got Johnson, like you got Champagny. You got these guys who are bigger guys, Carter Bryant. Like I just think that's going to be interesting because like at least when it came to the other matchups that the um uh the Knicks had against Brunson found somebody he could kind of pick on, some more his size. Now you could say Fox, but here's the other problem is the guards have the security blanket behind them. So that's why I think like in game 7, the Spurs were okay with Fox guarding Shea because Shea would have to take a tough shot anyway, and if he got by Fox, Wembanyama was there. So I'm interested. I'm watching the guard play immensely in this game, especially the first couple, because I think that will kind of set the tone with what the capabilities of Brunson's going to be against these bigger defenders.
Yeah, so I think in the starters, like you're right, Brunson, he's a small guy. Conversely, I think the Spurs are up against like a bigger Knicks team with OG.
Oh, sure,
with,
like Bridges.
Bridges.
Yeah.
Hart is kind of like right in the middle, 6'5", 6'6". Like he's not a huge guy, but he's an average sized guard. So I think, having Towns, OG, Bridges, that's a big front line. And the Spurs a lot of times go 4 guards or 3 guards. And
Sure.
Johnson, who's, he's not forward. He's not a big guy. So I think the Spurs struggled with rebounding against the Thunder. And I think they could struggle likewise with the Knicks, who are aggressive at going after offensive rebounds.
Yeah, again, that's something that Josh Hart is even really good at. So him being in the game is kind of pivotal in this match. In this matchup. Okay, let's see here. Matchup. What are some of the matchups you're looking forward to in this game?
So I think I want to see what they do with Castle. I think they're going to put OG on Castle. I think they would put Bridges on Hart on Fox.
Okay.
And then I think they will put Brunson on Vassell.
Oh, okay.
I think that's how they'll just try to.
You don't think they'll just throw him in the corner on Champagny?
The size, I think, throws them off with that. But I think they would just switch that. Like, I don't think they would be like, no, let's not do that. But I think like Vassell and Champagny, kind of the same thing. Like, You're not terribly worried about those guys like breaking you down and going to the hoop and creating a ton of problems. So I think you're right. That'll probably be the matchup, and obviously teams are going to try to switch with that as far as the Knicks are concerned.
Yeah, I like that one. And on the other side, Castle covering Brunson. Who do you think guards Anunoby? It's probably Penny, or do you think it'll be Harper?
Yeah, I think they'll put someone bigger on him. Like Castle's a good defender, but he's not small. He's a guard, like he's 6'5", 6'6", but OG's a big dude.
Yeah.
And OG can get downhill, and I think they're going to want Champagny, someone bigger on him.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not. Maybe they'll try that to see what happens. And like Victor is probably going to be on Hart. But again, what small guy are you going to put on Cat then? Like that's where you kind of get the cat and mouse, no pun intended, about where some of these matchups go.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting because I think so do you think on the defensive side, Cat's going to card Wembanyama?
I do.
Yeah, me too. I'm interested in that because obviously he did a really good job on Jokic back like 3 years ago when he was on Minnesota. And I think he's going to be quick enough to keep in front of Victor. Now, the question is and he's like thick enough where Victor can't bully him. The question really is like, is he going to be able to affect the shot and can he stay out of foul trouble? Because those are the two big things when it comes to Karl-Anthony Towns. He needs to be on the court and he needs to be effective.
Yeah, I think the fouls are the big, like you're right. Victor is still going to score on him.
Right.
But he's not going to like back him down and then just dunk on him from 5 feet away. So can Cat just like get up in him, make him take the 12-foot shot? He's going to make his share of them, but you can live with that. Make him work his way down in there. I know we talked about there's days off in this series, so rest between games shouldn't be an issue, but in a game, you can wear down. We've seen Victor get tired in these games, but I do think Cat's got to stay out of foul trouble offensively. They're going to need him on offense because I think this is going to be like an offensive series because I think both teams on offense have advantages here.
Yeah.
And we kind of came off a series where we saw like a lot of defensive highlights. I don't think we're going to see as many in this series.
Yeah. You're probably right. I think, yeah, I guess I'm not sure. I just think like with the Spurs, yeah, it's hard because again, the Wembanyama effect. It's like, okay, obviously the Thunder shot a lot of threes. They got a lot of open looks. They didn't convert. So you assume that the Knicks will shoot a lot of threes. So can they keep the fire going that they've been shooting at? That's important. I think what's my biggest concern for the offensive side for the Knicks is just Brunson, where he likes to work. It's kind of the same place Shea likes to work, and he's smarter than Shea, and so he's going to have the same problem that Shea had, which is where is Victor Wembanyama at all the time? At all times. If you take that away from Brunson, it's like, is he going to be as effective? I'm kind of interested to see that because he's going to have a big guard guarding in front of him, and he's going to have Wembanyama in the area where he likes to work.
Yeah, and that's why I think in all three matchups, the Knicks got up 53s on the Spurs. I think you're going to see the same thing, and I think the Knicks killed him 2 of them. Victor came off the bench on one of them. He's coming back from injury, and the Spurs barely beat him the one game. They had like a big comeback in the fourth quarter. And that's kind of how I don't think the Knicks are going to change much, especially early on, is if Victor is going to play off, I think they will just shoot. And I think there's going to be a couple games in the series where the Knicks, if the last 10 games in the playoff, the Knicks may never miss 3.
Correct. Yeah.
But if they have a normal, they were 10 for 50, they're probably going to be in trouble in that game. But I think the Knicks, if they have to bring in Shamet, again, I think defensively, I don't think the Knicks are we got to lock them down. I think at least my approach, if you're the Knicks, is if we can make them scramble, if we can make Victor not just stand with a foot in the paint because Shamet's out there, even if Hart is off and all our other guys can shoot, Bridges has got to, stay relatively hot. If you got 5 guys out there that are going to shoot, I think then Brunson's going to feast. I know he's got a bigger guard on him, but none of these guys are 6'10" covering him,
Sure.
Castle's 6'6". So, his little push off step back, he's going to get the shot off. And we all know Castle, he's also probably going to fall for 2 or 3 pump fakes and get in foul trouble. He's another one like Cat. If he's in foul trouble, then Fox is in the game, right? And I think Brunson have no problem dealing with Fox.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just I guess my question would be how close do you if you're a Brunson, he likes to get kind of in that 15 to 18 foot range. It's just Wembanyama is going to be there now. So I think it's going to really depend on Brunson, especially early on in the series, to be very decisive on what he's going to want to do and just live with kind of the consequences of it, because otherwise you get to the point where you're the Thunder did a lot where they're second guessing what they should be doing, and that just stalls your offense entirely. So I'm interested to see that. Okay, X Factor. Who's your X Factor for the Knicks?
I'm going to go with Mitchell Robinson. I know he
Yeah.
had the hand thing. We'll just assume that he can, he's not going to play big minutes, and he's basically in there to grab rebounds and then get them in the bonus. I don't think the Spurs are going to do the hacker Robin. They're not one of the teams that normally does that. This is the final. So, if he's killing them in one of these games, you break it out. But he really killed them in the regular season games and the in-season tournament game, because even though he stands by the paint and that's where Victor wants to be, Victor's not an awesome rebounder. He's thin, and Mitchell Robinson just devours the boards, and he can get up and put down, a putback or, an alley-oop. So he's kind of like that rebounding X factor, because if he can get rebounds and then Victor's in the paint and he's throwing it out for an open 3, that's where the Knicks really make hay, when he's kicking it out and you just have all your shooters wide open.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I like Robinson. I had him written down because like you said, his hand injury, it's like, but what he just rebounds and dunks. So if it's like if you can't, you don't need much of a hand to do that. It's not like you're a sharpshooter and you need your hand, but we'll see what happens there. I also have Hart. I'll just name another one. Is that's just Hart. Hart, if he's hitting his threes, it's going to open up so much because he's really good at diving to the board for offensive rebounds, and because Victor Wembanyama is going to try to contest shots, it's going to open the door for him being aggressive and getting the offensive rebound. This is why Mitchell Robinson gets a lot too, because Victor always contesting. So I think if Hart is hitting his threes and they can keep him on the court, that's going to be a huge win for the Knicks. And it might happen that they have to switch up who's Victor's guarding because if Hart's hitting them, you're going to want to guard out there. But then now he's got to guard Cat, who also can hit threes. So it limits what Victor can do in the paint, and that would be perfect for the Knicks if they can get that going.
I would agree, and that you have it down on here, but it also like what does Cornette do? Do the Spurs try a too big lineup?
Mm.
Like do they haven't done it much during the season, but do they try Cornette and Victor if Cat and Robinson are on the floor to kind of combat the rebounding? Cornette can do his dirty work and box out. I don't know that that's a panacea, would unlock anything, but they do have the option. Like if it's getting ugly and they're going to play Cat and Robinson as maybe a wild card. I don't think it might be overly successful, but when they played in the regular season, the Spurs offense did function better with Cornette on the court because it was Robinson and they could, kind of pin him around.
Yeah, I'd be interested if they pull that out. That'd be interesting. Okay. X factor for the Spurs. Are you going to say it's Cornette, or do you have someone else?
No, I'll go with Johnson.
Yeah.
He's got to play better because I do think he might be one of the guys the Knicks leave open a couple times. Same with Vassell.
Yeah.
I'll just go with Johnson though, because if he's off, both these teams aren't like overly deep. Like you said, the Knicks got guys on their bench, but you're not like, oh, hey, let's get Jose Alvarado in this game. Like this isn't exactly an awesome. He might come in for a couple minutes, and if he hits a couple threes and you can pull him, you win. Same with Harrison Barnes. So these teams aren't like 10 deep. You're going to see a lot of the 6-7 guys all the time.
Yep.
Minus some bit players. And I think if Keldon Johnson shoots like he did in the last round, there could be some problems.
Yeah, because if the game plan is for the Knicks to shoot threes, a bunch of them, and if they're hitting them, the Spurs need their 3-point shooters to make their shots. So Johnson is one, and you mentioned Vassell too. I think that's important. Both those guys got to be hitting their shots. I think that is an X factor. We saw how the 3-point who made the most in the Spurs Thunder series, how it kind of like matched who won the game most of the time, except game one. That could be the same with the Knicks and Spurs. And the Knicks right now, you would give the edge to the Knicks in the 3-point shooting, so that those two need to show up.
Yeah, totally agree.
Okay, let's pick it. Let's pick the series. Give me your prediction.
So I went off of like as soon as the matchup happened, like not even factoring who I wanted to win. My gut just said Knicks in 6.
Knicks in 6.
I think the Knicks are going to be able to shoot the ball. I think there's going to be feedback loops in this series because the Spurs are an awesome transition team. And obviously if you're missing threes and it's long rebounds, Dylan Harper, Castle are going to just punish the Knicks in a couple of these games. But I do think there's going to be 1, 2, 3 games where the Knicks are shooting a good percentage from 3. And I do not think the Spurs can overcome that. So I think the Knicks will win it at home in 6.
Now it's a 2-2-1.
2-2-1-1-1.
Okay, yeah. Remember back in the day when it was like 2-3-2? 2-3-2. Was that the what it used to be?
Yeah, it
Yeah.
used to be 2-3-2. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I hope you're right, man. I for some reason I think the Spurs are gonna win. I'm rooting for the Knicks. I'm gonna say Spurs in five. I just think I'm gonna use the excuse that you brought up earlier. People are saying I just think the road for the Spurs was a little harder with the Wolves and the Thunder. And I think the journey is just as important as the destination, like the wars you fight in to get to the final battle kind of thing. And I just don't think that what they experienced with the Thunder and the Wolves, the Knicks didn't experience that. Now, yes, I think you're right with the offense. It was flowing and stuff, but it wasn't like they were playing top-notch defenses in the Cavs or the 76ers, like when you can just pick on Embiid all day. So it opened up their offense a lot. I think they're going to have a little bit more harder of a time to open up their offense with the Spurs and how good and disciplined their defense can be. Victor Wembanyama, the effect that that has. So I'm going to be one of those guys that say, listen, I just think that the Spurs are going to be surprised of, even though the Knicks have a good defense, but just a little bit more freedom of movement against the Knicks than they did have against the Thunder, and it's going to be like, oh, type thing for the Spurs. So I'm picking the Spurs in five, and I hope I'm wrong. I'm a little bit of a pessimist right now, but I'm rooting for the Knicks. But yeah, I'm going to go Spurs in five.
Yeah, and I part of me wonders if the Spurs. So I think Game One could be like the beginning of the game, like a wake up call for the Knicks because they haven't played for a while, and the
Hmm.
Spurs are obviously the best team that they will have played at
Right,
this point.
right.
But I also think the Spurs haven't played besides what these teams played. But again, I mean, maybe we're going to see how actually important the play-in tournament is when the
Yeah.
Knicks go double title. But I think the Spurs also will have a little bit of a wake-up call because the Thunder were kind of like Shea, dribble, 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 throw it
Yeah.
to someone. The
Hmm.
guy doesn't shoot the three, and you can kind of recover. Um, so I think there'll be a wake-up call from both. The Spurs certainly could win this in five. I go both ways. Like I was going to bring this up earlier. Like this is me like talking through both sides of my mouth because like the Spurs like celebrated like crazy to get here,
I thought of
and
that too.
and
Yeah.
I do think like there's a part of me, and I've talked about this like with the in-season tournament or whatever. There's a part of me that's like we should probably celebrate things more than we do. Like
Hmm.
now we make fun of some of these things, but like in the 90s, like they the Pistons when they were good, the Bucks, like they hung banners for winning divisions, right?
Hmm.
Like you would have
Yeah.
the there goes our Central Division banner, and everyone's like, "Oh, we won a division," and you'd have a little celebration. So I do think you need to do more of that. The Spurs were like a little over the top for me,
Hmm.
and sometimes that's a red flag. Like, hey, we made it here. Um, and the Knicks were kind of like, we made it, yay, but there's still more to do. That's not like a be all end all, but part of me was like, all right. And I brought this up like when the Bucks made the finals, like the Bucks won and they were like clap did the trophy thing and then left and the Suns like ran around the court like that was their title. Um, I'm not reading too much into it. Just it popped in my head that I think
No,
maybe
I'm
the
glad you
Knicks
brought
are
that
like
up.
maybe
Yeah.
the Knicks are like, hey, this is just we're just gonna come in, we're gonna bomb the crap out of three. Like we have shooting, we know what we're good at. And I think at game one, I think that should be really telling. If the Spurs blow them out, you know, then that beginning of game two is important. But if it's even a really close game, I think that's a good sign for the Knicks coming off of a week and a half off and not
Yeah.
playing anyone really good. And if the Knicks can get game one, I think I know the Spurs just won in OKC, but
Yeah. Well,
Madison Square Garden.
yeah. I did think of that because every time I see like a people celebrating like that, I always think of Kobe Bryant's job's not done. And like it's just the attitude you kind of have, like job's not done. So I agree with you that that's a little bit of a red flag. The Spurs acted like they kind of won the final, like they slayed their dragon, and they seemed like great with it. Where the Knicks was like they were all business kind of, and I like that about the Knicks going into this series. We'll see if it translates, but yeah, um, I don't know. I just I think I picked the Thunder quick in last year's series too, and the Pacers brought them to 7. So I'm probably going to be 100% wrong. So anyway, anything else on the finals?
I don't think so. I'm excited for it. Again, it feels dirty, wanting the big market team to win. But
I know.
Part of me, like what the Knicks have done, is kind of like exciting. It's gonna hurt me. Like I'm gonna listen back to this 20 years from now and be like, oh, I can't believe I wanted the Knicks to win. But
the Spurs have had success though. It's not like it's not like the Minnesota Timberwolves or something like that hasn't had a finals run or whatever.
Yeah. And maybe if we get 3 games in here and Jalen Brunson is just falling all over the ground, I'll be like, cool, Spurs in 5. I'll be glad to be wrong on this. Like,
yeah, correct.
Finish him off. But if he just plays kind of how he has in this playoffs, like, cool. Give the small guard 1 title before the league kind of totally goes away from it.
Yeah, agreed. I would be with you on that. And one thing I'll say is I wanted to bring up, I forgot to. Do you know who I picked to be in the finals at the beginning of the season?
The Spurs and Knicks?
No, I wish. Knicks and Thunder. I was 1 game away of getting that right. That'd been amazing. Oh well.
I picked the Knicks too. No.
I think you had Nuggets and
Hawks.
Hawks. Okay, that's right. You like
in fairness, if the Knicks win this, you destroyed me in the playoff total wins. I'll take home the title. I'll take home the team that won it all.
Thanks so much for watching this clip of the Box Score Sports Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you haven't yet, please subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Instagram and Twitter or X. And we'll talk to you guys real soon. See ya.